Hi guys, Michael here. Now I'm going to talk to you about clutch control and learning how to control your clutch and what the clutch does and the best way for you to learn how to use it. The clutch is a critical part of driving and it can be quite frustrating when we can't work out why it's not working. So I'm going to go through some detail now to help you understand how the clutch works. Before I talk too much about the clutch though, we've got to understand the basic concept of a car. So we're sitting inside a metal box, it's got 4 wheels, and at the front we have the engine. Now the engine is our power source, it's the motor that's going to make the wheels turn. So the critical element here is our motor is going to be connected to our wheels via the clutch. That's what the clutch does. Its task is to connect the motor, the engine, which is generating a rotation force, to the wheels. If you can connect the engine to the wheels, you can make the wheels turn, and thus the car will move. A nice analogy for that is riding a bicycle. Most of you can already ride a bicycle, and even if you don't ride a bicycle, you understand how it works. So imagine you're now on your bicycle and you're riding your bicycle and you are pedaling. All of the power that's going through your legs and into the crank pedal is now going through the crank pedal and through the chain to the back wheel and making that back wheel turn. And you're aware that to go up hills you have to pedal harder. If you want to go faster, you have to pedal harder. It's exactly the same in the car. The engine is making us move, and we want to go uphill, we need more power. If we want to go faster, we need more power. And the engine is connected to the wheels via the clutch pedal. The job of the clutch is to connect, that's pedal up, or disconnect, pedal down, the engine from the motor. Imagine you're on your bicycle, you're still pedaling, and I was to come alongside you and pull the chain off. It wouldn't matter how hard you pedal now, none of your power is getting through to the wheels, and if you're on flat ground, the bicycle it won't suddenly stop, it slowly loses speed and eventually it stops, unless you're on a hill. Okay? If I then put the chain back on that bicycle and you start pedaling again, the power can get through to the wheels and you will move. And it's exactly the same with the clutch. The job of the clutch is to get the power from the engine and connect it to the wheels and make the wheels turn. Having done that, by varying the speed of the engine, you can control how fast you want to travel. So think of it in that terms. Clutching down disconnects the engine. That's like chain off your bicycle. Bringing your clutch up connects it all back up again, and that's like chain back on your bicycle, and the car will be moving. Right. Now the clutch is a little bit more complicated than that, and obviously a car is a little bit more complicated than a bicycle, so I'm going to go into some detail about how you're going to control your clutch. Now there is a position on your clutch pedal which I'm sure you might have heard of already, most of you had, and that's called the biting point. The biting point is the position on the pedal where the clutch is ready to connect the engine to the wheels. The critical thing to understand is that when you are at your biting point, your car should not be moving. It should be steady and stable and ready to move. That's what you're after. You're after that I'm ready to move position. If the car is moving, you're not at the biting point. You've gone beyond it and you're now driving. You're in the driving range. So first of all, you come up on your pedal, you find your biting point. That's where it's ready to move. And then you very carefully lift it another millimeter, and that'll move you into the driving range and she'll start moving off. And then you do another millimeter and another millimeter, and you can do that for 4 millimeters, and then eventually she'll be going, and that'll be it, and you can come all the way off your pedal then. So I'm going to go and draw you a diagram explaining all that in more detail. Okay, see you in a minute. Bye. Okay, so here we go. I'm upstairs. I'm going to draw you a picture. Let's hope this comes out. So I'm going to do this on one condition, guys, and that's that you don't laugh at my pictures, because I'm actually not an artist. Okay, so what I need you to do is imagine that this is the clutch pedal, looking at it sideways, and I'm going to draw your shoe. Okay, and this is your shoelaces, and this is your leg. Okay, so there's your foot over the clutch pedal. Now, the pedal is it's on a strong spring, and it's important you appreciate that the spring all the time is trying to push the pedal up. When you take your foot off of the pedal, it naturally wants to come up, and you need to allow it to do that. When you're operating the clutch and you push it down, make sure you push it right the way to the floor as far as it goes. So it basically goes into the carpet. The two extremes of travel, let's say that's all the way up, let's say that's all the way down. Clutch fully down, clutch fully up. When you get the car ready, you need to push the clutch all the way down before you select first gear. Let's draw you a quick gear lever. Okay, you need first gear to pull away. So all this is done in first gear, only first gear. So you push the clutch all the way to the floor, and then you want to find the biting point. Now the biting point is about halfway up. It does move, it changes around because the clutch wears away, and it'll be different in each car. So you need to find where your biting point is. There are 4 ways of finding the biting point. I'll cover that in another video. So this is about clutch control. Carefully bring your pedal up, and then you'll find about halfway, round about there, is the biting point. Now, as I said earlier, it's important to understand the biting point is where the car is ready to move, not where it's moving. So you want to bring the clutch to the biting point and hold it dead still. If you come up too high, she'll start moving, and if you don't want to move, push it quickly back down again, and then carefully find the biting point again. When the clutch is all the way down, we could say that this position here is 0 miles per hour. When you come through here, you can be as fast as you like. Nothing will happen. Nothing happens until you reach your biting point. But at the biting point, you need to be steady and still. At the biting point, the speed is still 0 miles an hour. If you were then to come up above the biting point, and we're talking about 1 millimeter, it's a tiny amount of movement, and that's why it's difficult to practice. The car will start moving. Now, let's have a look at this. So the biting point, the speed of the car is 0 miles per hour. If you were to bring the clutch up very carefully, 1 more millimeter, the car would then start moving. Let's draw that in. 1 millimeter. Now, time-wise, you need to do that very slowly, and it should take you a second, 1 second, to get to 1 millimeter. So 1 second in time. If you hold the clutch still and do not come in any higher than that, the car will move and it will stay at 1 mile per hour. Now, I call this the 1 mile an hour trick. You need to learn it, and you need to get really good at it. You will use it a lot. So you will use it as you carefully come out of if you're pulling out of a road junction, or maybe you need to creep forward a bit to improve your vision because you stopped too far back from the line. You will use it in all your maneuvers, like reversing around a corner, parking, parallel parking, the turning the road exercise. They all rely on clutch control. This is why this is so important. If you come up 1 more millimeter, so that's 2 millimeters in total, would have taken you 2 seconds, and then you'll be going 2 miles an hour. If you come up another millimeter, that's 3 millimeters in total, 3 seconds, 3 miles an hour. Oh, you're with me, okay? The final position is here. This position is 4 miles an hour. That would be 4 millimeters in travel. So it's now taking you 4 seconds to get fully connected. Here it's fully connected, here it's fully disconnected. And this is the transition going through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can come off your clutch as fast as you like, nothing will happen. This is where the magic happens. This is where you need to be slow. And guess what? At that point you will be doing 4 miles an hour. All right? So let's see if you're paying attention. 5 millimeters would take you 5 seconds. And a point for anyone who can guess the speed. Yes, it's still only 4 miles an hour. If you want to go faster than 4 miles an hour, you need to be pushing the gas pedal. So the first gear can only give you 4 miles an hour. Now you can test this to true. If you put the car in first gear and carefully come off the pedals and let the car move off with no gas at all, she's going to go about 4 miles an hour. And this is what you need to understand. Okay, so here's another question for you. If I was to push the clutch back down again and hold it here exactly in the middle, how fast would I go? Quick calculation, half of 4, 2. Who got that? Well done. Right, now if I pushed it down 1 more millimeter to here, how fast would I go? 1. Brilliant. What about if I did the other way around? I came up a millimeter. Yeah, I got 3. So what you're telling me is the clutch control enables me to go from 0 mile an hour to 4 mile an hour. And if I hold it somewhere in between, I can stabilize the car at these lower numbers. That's what we're talking about clutch control. And result to this: 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters. If you practice that, your clutch control will get really good and smooth. Okay, I'm going to give you a top tip. So far I've talked about moving off in first gear. You want to use this for every single gear change. When you change from first to second gear, you use your clutch control and carefully release the pedal. This is the critical bit, just in the middle. The rest of it, you can be fast, slow for this bit, and then fast again. When you change gear from second to third, third to fourth, and even up to fifth gear, every time you change gear, you want to be practicing this. So you change to second to third, find your biting point in the gear change and carefully release it that 4 millimeters before you come off the pedal. When you change to the next gear, third to fourth, find the biting point, control that release. You do that for every gear change. So you will be practicing finding the biting point in every gear change you make, not just pulling away in first gear. Okay, that's my top tip for the day. I hope you find that useful. I'm going to make some more videos, so keep tuned. Bye.